next to me, Warren Stanworth. Hello. All right. Can we just get a confirmation if everybody is hearing us fine? Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. So welcome to this webinar where we'll be explaining our PGD, what is this new project and this new course that we've launched since the end of last year, and telling you all about the program, how we are, what we run, so you have the best questions. So we have about 30 minutes initially to talk about the program in itself, and afterwards we'll have a demo class where I will go over AI and how AI can be helpful for you to increase your productivity. So what I would like to ask you, if you just could keep your microphone closed for the moment, and then we will have a little session of Q&A after the first part, and after the second part, be looking for some more interactivity. But for the first one, just let us present what we have to talk about. So who are we? So we are the Asian Institute of Hospitality Management in academic association with Les Roches in Switzerland. We are an institute based in Bangkok, Thailand, located in what we call the Riverside Complex. So you have in the picture two beautiful hotels, the Anantara Riverside and the Avani Riverside, and we are actually located on the 9th and on the 3rd floor of that entire complex. We offer a Bachelor in Business Administration for undergraduate students. We also offer a certificate program for career changes, and now since last October we are offering this PGD, and that's what we are here to talk about today. So we are located in Thailand. We believe a lot in Thailand as being a great place to study hospitality. We are in the center of Southeast Asia and very close to places like China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, India, and even also Russia as well. We have welcomed so far 250 students since 5 years we exist, and we currently have actually 25 different nationalities. So we are also English spoken campus. Everything we do here is taught in English, whether on all the different programs, and as well is the English language that we use when we communicate through amongst each other. Bangkok, we strongly believe it's a fantastic place to live. It's a fantastic place to work. It is also a fantastic place to study, and especially if you want to study hospitality, because Bangkok is the most visited city in the world. All the major hospitality brands are here. All the major hospitality brands, corporate offices are here. So Minor, for instance, our mother company, but also Accor, Marriott, and others. And they're really looking at hiring the best and the brightest to work in hotels. So it gives you a lot of chance to network, a lot of chance to experience the best that hospitality has to offer, and also to network with different people from all different types of work and careers. So why AIM, and why AIM is such a great place to be? So you have a lot of pictures on the slides from our undergrad students. Some of them are actually about to be graduating from this particular picture. But the things that we believe makes us great is, first of all, kind of the vision that we have at the Institute, and we call it AIM Higher, which is in our mantra. So AIM Higher is something that we share amongst the lecturing team, amongst all the faculty, all amongst the team members that work here to support our students, but also the students themselves. And is that essentially all those 5 different values is we always try to do our best and to aim for the best quality that we can offer, and in order to really become one of the best hotel schools in Asia when people think about hospitality. So everything we do here is international basis. So our program is coming from Switzerland together with Les Roches. We also have some other programs coming from the UK. We are teaching everything in English, and we're following very much modern Western pedagogical approach. And as mentioned before, we attract from students from all across the world. But because we are based in Bangkok, we are also quite affordable. So affordable in terms of study, but also quite affordable in terms of cost of living and living in Bangkok. So that's really combining both together. We are owned by a hotel company called Minor. Minor is the 10th biggest hotel company in the world, with across 570 hotels worldwide, from Asia, Middle East, Maldives, Africa, Europe, and also the Americas. And then we have what we call a preferred employment status with minor hotels, meaning that any student who graduates with us and arrives at the last stage of their education career then can apply to minor for an employment. We cannot guarantee a job because it will still depend on what the company can do, but we guarantee an interview and also a proposal. So looking at the aspiration that you have as a student and what is available, something will be offered to make sure that you can start your first step of your career. And that first step of the career doesn't have to be Thailand. So typically, minor is looking at offering jobs really all across the regions, again, Middle East, Asia, Europe, and so on. And that's kind of one of the promises we made to our students. Minor, if you didn't know, is the 10th biggest hotel company in the world, and is the first Asian company in the world. Again, as I mentioned before, with 570 hotels. Also, and Warren will tell a little bit more about that afterwards, we believe also strongly in dynamic learning. So typically, whether you learn online or whether you learn in our classes, we don't believe in having someone talking nonstop for an hour and you just sitting down and listening to what the teacher has to say, but we believe very much in what we call active learning. So typically, if you come, especially in our classroom, everything is based on some discussions of concepts, discussion of theory, and then it is all focused then on acquisition and practice of those skills. So whether it's using some gamified learning as per what you have in this particular slide, or whether it would be on the directly on the okay, I got a message that apparently I'm sharing I'm not sharing the right screen. Apologies for that. Let me try that again. All right. Looks like I'm sharing the right screen now. All right. Thank you very much for the marketing team to come and intervene. So we are based very much on what we call a dynamic learning style. So meaning that students don't just sit down and listen to what we have to say, but the students are very much practicing. And Warren will tell a little bit more about that. And then, as mentioned before, we have a very much an international community based of teachers and faculty and team members. We have people from England, from the USA, from South Africa, from Italy, from all different from to support our students, also from Thailand. And also from the students, we have 25 different nationalities as well, really allowing students to really learn about different cultures and learn from different places across the world. And really, again, focusing on interacting and learning in English, which is a great skill to have. So I'm going to pass on to Warren, can talk us a little bit more around our particular program and our PGD. Over to you, Warren.
So, hello everybody, and we're really pleased and happy that you've taken the time to join us this afternoon. So, AIM was established going back to 2019, and we have a mandate from the Thai government to bring Swiss educational excellence to Asia. This is a partnership as such between the government, minor, ourselves, and La Roche, who we are in academic association with. So La Roche are basically in the top 5 hotel schools in the world, and we deliver their curriculum, whether that be the degree, the certificate, or the PGD, or the postgraduate diploma. So this is a La Roche certified curriculum, although the qualification is awarded by AIM. With this, we have a yearly audit with La Roche, and as you can see from the picture, the two people in the middle of this picture, you've got me on the left-hand side and Chris on the right-hand side. In the middle, you've got the 2 people from La Roche, and that's the academic dean and the COO of La Roche. They come, they check our quality, they check for our teaching and learning and facilities. Unfortunately, since we started, we've done very well with these academic audits. So our association with La Roche, as Chris mentioned earlier, spans 3 different programs. It's the bachelor, the certificate, and again, the postgraduate, for which we're here to discuss now. Very quickly, the BBA, or the Bachelor of Business Administration, that's delivered over 7 semesters, 3.5 years, and that takes us all the way through from practical arts to internships to the academic delivery. The certificate is a shorter programme, but again, as Chris mentioned earlier on, it's for people who are wanting to upskill or people who are career switchers. And then we've got this final, or the postgraduate diploma, which is what we're here to discuss now. So, postgraduate diploma in international hospitality management. Who is this for? So we've identified 4 different types of person that this particular program is developed for. So we're looking at mid-career professionals, and these are people who are looking to upskill. As we are all aware, industry in every single sector is changing, it's developing, and this program is developed to provide current mid-career professionals with new skills, up-to-date skills, which will help them support and develop their career. We've then got career switchers. That's people moving from one career to another, and who is looking to enhance or to develop and acquire new hospitality credentials. Then we've got head of department level team members preparing for executive roles. And then anyone who is, sorry, can we just, sorry. Right, so sorry, I do apologise. So anyone seeking flexible or immersive professional development. So what we're looking to do here is to develop people with regards to this programme in order to develop their careers within hospitality. Okay. We understand the importance of having a balanced life, work-life relationship. We understand that you, as mature students, have a life, that you've got work, potentially you've got families. And that is why what we have developed 3 different types of delivery for our PGD, in order for you as individuals, hopefully, to find the right pathway to help you develop your career. The first way that we deliver this is a full-time study. This will be on campus over a 6-month period, and you will basically come to the institution as a traditional student, sitting in classes and during the week. That'd be Monday to Friday. So that's 6 months on campus with 6 months internship or stroke project. The second way that we deliver this is part-time study. This is over a 1 full year, and this is at weekends, plus the work-based project. And this is what we've already launched this programme with 10 students, and they're already started the delivery of this. And then we've got the online option, which again, for some people who are working, this is a more flexible way of acquiring this qualification. So the study format is done in different blocks. And again, what we've done with this is the flexible learning is designed to help you work within your working practice, within your life and your home. But what we want to make sure and support students with is the study format, which allows you to join at different points of the year. So as you can see from the study format here, we've initially got 3 blocks. So block 1, 3 months, block 2, 3 months, block 2, 3 months. And within that, we do 2 subjects within that period. So these are done in 6-week blocks within the block, if that makes sense. So we'll do leadership for 6 weeks. Then we'll do entrepreneurship for 6 weeks. And that's how the course is delivered. So you'll literally focus 1 subject every 6 weeks. And this is to provide you with this flexible idea of flexible learning. Okay. So the course content. So I'll take you through each one of these, but we start off with entrepreneurship and hospitality leadership and management. Yes, and Chris delivers the entrepreneurship and I deliver the leadership. So both of these are, these two subjects, I would argue, are pivotal for all managers to acquire. The idea of, and I keep saying this, we are all experiencing change. And the idea here is for you to develop your entrepreneurial and business modeling skills and couple that with leadership and change management. So on the entrepreneurship, it's understand entrepreneurs in the hospitality context, gain skills to develop and evaluate new business ventures, and learn business modeling. With regards to leadership, what we do here is that we want you to look at yourself and your leadership traits. The belief is that we are all leaders, but the idea is for you to identify your leadership skills, your leadership knowledge, and your traits, and then be able to develop from there. So both of these are both practical subjects that you will be able to walk away with a toolkit for your entrepreneurial practice and your leadership and change management. Okay, the next two, which is services marketing and international events management. So with regards to the marketing, this is where you'll learn about strategies which is tailored towards service-based hospitality. One of the important things is to understand the difference between service and product marketing, and this is something that people can get confused, but we really focus in on the service marketing. You will be looking at how marketing is embracing digital transformation and how you can, again, adapt and apply this within your own practice. Moving on to the international events management, this is a very exciting course, is this one. And this is where you'll learn to plan and manage events from inception all the way through to the very end. And you'll develop, the concepts to meet stakeholder needs, and then for the return on investment. We then move on to hospitality finance performance and revenue management. Now, for some people, with regards to finance, people start to panic. They don't like math and so on. The way that we deliver this is staged, it's stepped, and we build your knowledge. This is not about understanding numbers, it is about understanding processes. So please, please, please do not worry about this, about finance and accounting. Even if you do not have a background in this, this is about understanding processes rather than the worry of building numbers. And again, as Chris was talking about earlier on, it is about learning by doing. So we spend a lot of time in both of these subjects, which is finance and performance management, and then revenue management. Now, revenue management, this is again very, very important subject for all hospitality leaders, and you will be taken through this. And the way that we deliver this as well is this is not just about sitting in a classroom. We use a platform called RevSim, where we're able then to have you apply revenue management in practice through
simulation.
Through simulation, thank you very much. Through simulation. Moving on, so then we've got the business field trip. This will be happening, will be scheduled in to your delivery. This is where we will take you down to Phuket, where you will look at different 2 different hotels, get case studies from there, and then you'll work on a project with regards to that. And then finally, the business field trip, you'll be there for a week. So that's usually something which students really look forward to. throughout the delivery of the program, because you do get to do things which are different, and develop a first-hand experience of the industry. We then move into what is called the work-based project. And again, this is something which is research-based, where you'll produce a report and we will work with you collaboratively for you to be able to develop this.
What I'd like to just add on the work-based project, if I may, is the concept that on the work-based project is a project that you want to work on. So this is something you as a PGD student and deciding on something that you want to work on, something that you want to study further. Maybe you work in F&B, you want to propose a new concept and you want to bring it to open it yourself potentially, or maybe you want to propose it to your owner or your general manager, or you want to look at sustainability interests you, or events, whatever interests you, and whatever is a real problem that you can then apply to your place of work, or something that interests you personally. So it's really your project to own and to research. A tutor will be here to accompany you along the way. So this, I think, it's also very exciting to be something that could be eventually useful after you finish your studies.
Yeah. Now, some people, they worry that they have no experience in hospitality. And what we do with regards to this is to bring students in and let them join our HIP program, which is the Hospitality Immersion program. And students who with no experience of hospitality, they will come in and they'll spend 18 weeks with us, which is basically the first semester of our practical arts. And we will take them through a range of hospitality operations, which will range from front desk to service to kitchen, housekeeping, to allow these people, these career switches as such, to actually find and establish and experience the hospitality industry's culture. So, program outcomes. By the end of this program, you'll be able to apply learning directly to real business challenges. You will develop your leadership profile. You will start to see yourself as a leader, your strengths, your weaknesses, and develop and be able to develop those. You have should you be sending employees to us, there will be greater loyalty and engagement. And you will, at the end of the course, be able to tangibly see the return on investment from applied projects.
All right.
Okay. So, one of the great things about this program is once you have completed the PGD with ourselves, you can then, if you want, transfer to La Roche at either Crans-Montana, Switzerland, or to Marbella in Spain, where you'll be able to do the Master of Advanced Studies in Hospitality Management. Now, these come with different specializations. So, should you choose to go to Switzerland, which is, and again, Crans-Montana is a beautiful part of the world, and there you will be able to do a food and beverage or entrepreneurship and management specialization. In Spain, you've got a range of different specializations, but you've got marketing management or golf management. So if you're a sporty type of person, then that would be a very good specialization to do. Or cruise line management. And this, again, these are all very, very exciting specializations which will open up your career. So, why this works for students, for mature students, it's practical, project-based learning, works integrated development, there's no loss of productivity, affordable alternative to an international master's, prestige of Swiss-style education through La Roche. And that's very important. We match La Roche's delivery, we match their curriculum, and that is why our students are able to then transfer to La Roche to top up to a master's. And again, we believe in education for all and lifelong learning. So the idea of being able to develop your career, develop your qualifications again is very important. So back to this flexible way of learning. And then hopefully, as you move forward, you will build your leadership profile. And that's all within 1 year.
Yeah, just to kind of really add up on what Warren said is that typically a master takes about 18 months to 2 years. Here, in 1 year, you can do everything in Bangkok. And just with 6 months in Europe as a top-up, then you can actually acquire your master. So this is also financially more interesting in a way that you do not have to get away from your home, from your work for 2 years, but only for 6 months. And then while you're still based in Bangkok or in Asia, if you want to join online, you can still do that while you're working and while you're supporting your families. So let's just bring this to the conclusion, and then I will open the mic to questions that you might have for me or Warren. So typically, if you want to learn a little bit more about us, I encourage you to go and check on our website at AIHM.ac.th. And if you go into our website, you will also find our blog. So we have a blog that we publish here, about 2 entries every week, and we tell about everything that is happening on campus. We also have experts think pieces where some of the tech teachers sometimes write about the subject that is close to their heart. I wrote a little bit about entrepreneurship. Warren wrote a little bit about leadership, and other teachers as well. So if you want to explore the concept a little bit further, seeing our students in action, seeing what's happening, it's a good way for you to understand who we are. And then if you're more about social media, we can go to all the different platforms. Just want to warn you that Instagram is very heavily geared towards our undergrads. So it's all about students' life, campus life, on what's happening here in Bangkok with our undergrad students, not so much with the postgrads. But if you go on LinkedIn, or if you go on Facebook, or even YouTube, you will find some testimonials and some more content that you can see about what is life at AIM and the way we approach teaching and learning, which again, we are a very student-centric institute focusing on the opportunities for our students. So here we are. So that was about half an hour as planned. Sorry for the hiccup with the slides to start with. So now I would like to open the floor to questions. So either you can open your mic and ask us the questions, or if you're a little bit shy, then no worries. You can also ask the question directly into the chat. And after that, we will move on to our class. So I like to always start with who asked the first question?
Don't be shy.
Hi. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
I don't see a little hands up, so I'm just going to get started. Quick question.
Perfect.
In terms of the project that we should be choosing. So I'm a hotel general manager, and I'm looking to do my master's, and it works out best for me to do it with the online course that you provide. How would you describe a project I would have to do?
It's a very interesting question.
Yeah, no, it is. This is for the
Work-based project.
The work-based project is what we advise you to do with that is to choose a problem that you potentially have within your hotel, or an issue that you want to that you want to investigate. Okay. One of the things which we'll always turn around and say, especially at this level of education, you're investigating something. You're not trying to prove something right or wrong, although that could be the outcome where you find the solution that you're looking for. But the idea is to investigate the problem, to really try to get to grips with that. Now, you get some students who, in the recommendations, is that this subject needs further research, or it may be where you find the solution that you're looking for, but we'll always be trying to move you into an unbiased solution. Does that make sense? You're doing the research. The idea is, though, that you find something that potentially is a problem. So it could be employee retention. It could be, the move towards AI and how that's going to affect your property. or it could be a new restaurant concept. There's a whole range of different areas that you can investigate. We'll work with you in order to establish the right one. But what we do, we will go a long way to make sure that you don't make your research too big. And that's the problem with a lot of, if you will, work-based projects. Students make them too big. In other words, it's too much of a project to finish. Okay? So yes, again, employee retention, motivation, could be guest-related,
customer satisfaction, new service that you would like to introduce to your hotel. It's really up to you, and that's the beauty of it. Is the challenge is it because it's up to you. Sometimes is where to start. So typically, as you go through the different modules, there's maybe one module that specifically catches your attention, and then maybe you want to implement a new way of doing revenue management in your property. Taking what you've learned in revenue management and then going into seeing like, okay, how would I go about introducing revenue management? And again, not coming with pros and cons, doing some analysis, seeing what works, talking to employees, to customers. Again, you decide your own path, and we are here to guide you and to give you the framework.
And I would suggest it's something that you're really interested in and passionate about. If you find a project which you're passionate about, then it makes the whole process so much easier. Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Why would this take 6 months?
Yes.
Sorry, just lastly, why would this take 6 months? I mean, the project is 6 months, right? But its deadline is 6 months, right?
So in part of the way of the delivery of the program, so as we deliver the course in a year, and then we delivered it in 6 blocks, but essentially 3 blocks of 3 months each, we are launching the work-based project when you finish the first 2 blocks, or the first 4 subjects. And at that moment, even though you'd be still studying 2 additional subjects, you can actually get started on your work-based project from the get-go. 6 months to complete it. Again, independent individual studies, then it depends how diligent and eager you are on working on this project. But because it's research-based, we do recommend to take the time to frame the question, decide on the scope of the project, look at kind of who are the key stakeholders of the project, how you want to go about achieving the goal. So that's the reasons why we give you enough time to do it.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question.
Hi. So I guess I'll go
Yes,
ahead.
please.
So I am actually not from hospitality background. So as you guys mentioned, the HIP program actually sounds quite helpful for people coming from non-hospitality background. And from what I see, it says that it like kind of involves a lot of real life experiences and understanding the core. So if I'm doing the course online, how does it work for me? I mean, in that case, how does it work? Am I clear
Yes, yes.
with the
So
question?
typically, where are you based? Can I ask?
I'm based out of Hanoi, Vietnam.
Okay, perfect. So typically for people who are coming and do the online, so the hotel immersion is really part of the Swiss rationale and the Swiss philosophy. But
Right.
if you want to work in hospitality, it's good to know about the theory, but it's also important to have some form of practice. Typically what we will do is we will be looking, we're kind of flexible for that immersion part, but it's either 3 weeks, potentially 4 weeks, where you would be able to come in 1 week, join our practical art students in the first semester and do 1 week of front desk, 1 week of kitchen, 1 week of service, 1 week of barista, which is what the students are doing, but on a longer period for you to acquire at least the understanding of what hospitality is and put your work into practice. This is purely based on immersion, and that sense the game. So there's no assessment for it, and then but it needs to happen while we have our current students on campus. So you will be joining and going in immersion directly with them.
Okay. What if I cannot make it to the campus? Like, I understand that like you guys have properties in Vietnam, in different regions. So, like the immersion program, I'm assuming it must be happening with hotels or properties which, like, it's all on campus, or is it like real hotels which are under the group, minor group?
It's a really good question, is that? And what we can do is we can potentially look for a solution for you, but it would be something which would have to be bespoke if you can't get to the campus. So we'd have to try to work out some type of study plan for you, but it
Okay.
would be bespoke to you. Okay,
All
so we would have to get back to you on that particular aspect.
Understood.
Thank you. What a great question.
Yeah.
Thank you
Challenge
so much.
is we can find ways. Just the understanding is we are indeed located inside of a hotel, but our students are being accompanied by lecturers and to learn part of the theory elements of doing service or working in the kitchen, but as well then they put into practice inside of the hotel, but still with the supervision of our lecturers. And that's the reason why if we work in Vietnam, we would have to connect with the hotel in Vietnam if they something. But I propose that if you're still interested to have a separate call, and then we
Yeah.
can kind of discuss a particular plan.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Of course. Pleasure. All right. Is there any further question? You can use the chat as well if you are shy.
Hi,
Hi.
this is Nazi. I actually put something on the chat. I was wondering what was there on the missed slides, and also
So I was mostly introducing the mid slide. I was mostly introducing the school or the institute.
okay.
So talk about who we are, what we've done, to the fact that we have a BBA, all the key part of the program itself. We've covered everything for the PGD together with Warren.
Sorry, I have two questions. So the second question is, do you know how much around how much it will cost for the 6 months master?
I don't have the price on top of mind, but typically if we have your email address, we can email you the information.
For the master
Great
degree
For the
question.
master,
We don't have
in
that either.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
We'll forward you the information. So actually, it's a good point because we forgot to mention any students who's transferring from AIM to Les Roches will also get a 25% discount on tuition as well.
Okay.
Great question.
Thank you, Nazi.
Thank you.
Master's plans would be great. Yes, we will do that. Thank you. We will forward you the information. So we'll forward you the slides as well as the recording of this webinar, and we'll add on to it the price for the master or the details of the tuition fee over there.
Hi, good evening.
Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm currently working as a pastry chef in Minor Hotels
Okay.
in Anantara. I would like to kindly ask which course you would recommend it to me further develop my skills and career.
So I do apologize. Could you just repeat that?
Yeah, I would like to kindly ask which course you would recommend it for me to further develop my skills and career.
Well, what we need in order to answer that question, we need to have in order for you to develop your career, I'd really need to meet with you personally to see what your aspirations are and what your current skills and knowledge are. But more than happy to do that to help you develop.
Yeah, like already I'm working in the kitchen. I would like to change kitchen to which department is more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Typically, we have several programs available to people who want to develop their careers. But it would be it also depends, because even though the postgraduate is eligible, you're eligible with work experience, we still would like to see kind of what has been your prior experience. Otherwise, we want to make sure to offer the program that is the right fit for everyone. So we have the certificate program that could be a solution. The certificate program, normally we also require some time to be on campus, but we're also exploring ways to offer this online as well. So that could be a program that also might work for you. But again, as Warren mentioned, it would be good that we maybe get in touch with us and we can discuss where you are at and kind of what you require.
Okay, sure. And I prefer an online course. Online courses.
Yes, we are exploring that as well. Yeah.
Sure. And if I work in minor hotels, so if there is any special benefits and discounts?
So yes, there is also there's a special friends and family rate for minor hotel employees.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, pleasure. All right. Thank you for the question. So if you stay here, I will do my little masterclass on AI. So thank you, Warren.
No problem. And thank you very much, everybody.
So if you allow me just to change the setting of my slides. To change. Give me just a minute, please. All right, so welcome to my session on AI. So typically, this is a topic that I partly actually teach in my session related to AI in entrepreneurship. So when I teach entrepreneurship, one of the things that I really want our students to focus on is to look at AI as a way, obviously not to cheat, but in a way for students to better understand how to explore entrepreneurial ideas. As you know, I mean, coming with an idea is relatively easy. Now, doing what we call customer discovery and finding whether this idea is viable, whether people would actually would be willing to pay for your product or your service. And then before that as well, how you can find people who are ready to invest into your idea, into your product. We normally require some form of research. And typically research takes time, research takes money. So there are ways that you can use AI to actually make your life or your work easier as well. And that's kind of one of the aspects that we look into. But the challenge is, when you think about AI, is that very often AI tends to be, these are powerful machines and very powerful system, but typically they actually tend to be not always giving what they want. So, and that's the reasons why we use AI as we students are practicing, and they use AI to look at the practice. So what is AI exactly, and what do we think when we look into AI? So one thing that I like my students to think around when they look at this is to think that AI is actually a big brain, a big artificial brain that contains the entire knowledge of the world. So when you think about ChatGPT, started approximately 2 years, almost 2.5 years ago. Initially, it was trained on certain data that was given to the internet until kind of 97. So they were 2007, so they were a few years behind, and they moved up to 2017, and then eventually they were able to kind of absorb the knowledge of the world as it goes now. So AI is super intelligent machine that kind of really owns the entire knowledge of the world for really anything. And you can go into this huge data set and database to actually get the knowledge that it will give up to you. But as those two different quotes kind of highlighted, AI is only some form of technology that allows machines to stimulate human learning, all right? Or as you can see in the quote below, there's a machine that actually helps you mimic human cognitive function, all right? So what people learn, what people have, and it performs tasks that require human intelligence. AI by itself is not intelligence. Computers by themselves are not intelligent. They do not yet act on their own. They act on the instructions that you give them. So that's what I like to say. I like to compare AI to a super intelligent PhD level intelligence person that acts for you, but only acts on what you ask it to do. And if you ask something stupid, it will not necessarily correct you, but it will actually do what you've asked it to do. So that's a bit the conundrum with AI, is that typically it is powerful, but it still acts and accompanies on what you want the machine to do for you. Now, when you talk about AI, especially today, AI covers a vast array of different things. And it's not necessarily something that OpenAI invented 3 years ago. We can go back to the 70s when we talk about neural networks, and the 80s, and then we can talk later about machine learning and so on. But my goal today is not to talk about the entire history of AI, but noting what we understand as AI today, which are some of the apps that we have here. And mostly all of them, they fall into what we call generative AI. So generative AI tools, which are tools that generate something, all right? That they can generate text, they can generate music, they can generate sound, they can generate videos and images and so on. Started with text and then it kind of expanded. And then we also tend to call these LLMs. So an LLM stands for a large language model. Initially, when we talked about AI, they actually were looking into translation. And it's through a translation engine that then it became to help for all the other ones. So I'm just opening the question to the class. On the screen, do you recognize all of these few AI LLMs or systems that I've put on the board? And you can use the chat as well to answer if you'd like to.
80%, yes.
All right. Yes. Go ahead, sorry.
You're saying 80% of them, yes.
80% of them, all right? So we have the one in the center, which I think we
about
kind of
80%. Yeah.
80%, yeah. ChatGPT, obviously, which is the kind of the starter, the founder. Copilot, that now if you work in a hotel, is kind of integrated in all our office, and Copilot is trying very hard to have a button everywhere. If you're on WhatsApp or Facebook, let me see. If you are on let me just take my. So if you are on, if you are on Facebook, on WhatsApp, you will see Meta, for example, that is there. Gemini, of course, with Google. And then typically we have Mistral, which people maybe don't know, but this is the European version. So it's a French LLM as well. Now, when we really think about the 3 big leaders in the market of AI nowadays in terms of capabilities and what they can do, is really ChatGPT with OpenAI, Gemini from Google, and then the last one is one from Claude from Anthropic. which are really the three most advanced model out there, with a fourth model that is kind of a little bit underground. People don't really know about it that much, but it's Grok from Twitter, or from, sorry, X or XAI as well, which is very powerful. I am not such a big fan of the model in itself because compared to the others, they have less ethical standards in terms of what the model does and what the model can create. There's something, of course, you might have heard about the Chinese and DeepSeek, which is coming nowadays, as powerful, free, potentially as powerful as Claude or AI and the others. And then you have some other models like Perplexity, which is not an LLM per se, but it's a platform that actually aggregates answers coming from different LLMs and puts it together as well. Something we love to use here at AIM for our students, especially the PGD, is Notebook LM from Google, which allows to have a personal assistant that is here to help you study. So the purpose of that slide is to really show you that the world of AI and the world of LLMs keeps on changing all the time, and you really need to be up to date in what terms of happens every day. So how to understand LLM? So an LLM typically, you need to understand, is trained on vast content. So it's trained on everything that happened before. It's all the internet knowledge. It is all the articles that have been scanned and put onto the internet. It is all the reports that are there. It is all the old books that have been present, movies as well, and so on. And based on this major brain that the LLM has or AI has, then it responds to specific prompts, and depend on the way you prompt on the AI and the way that it produces you the work. Now, what is important to understand is that AI in itself is not intelligent. AI in itself is a predictive machine. So if you see that sentence, the guest is always, what are you most likely to say? Exactly. So so the guest is always right. And I would say that most probably out of the 25 people we have in the room, most probably 25 people will say the same thing. Maybe one person will say something else, right? So that's what AI knows. AI knows that as a prediction, based on these 4 words, the 5th word at most 99% is most likely to be the word right. And then it will propose that word again. And then if the sentence is longer, it is what it will be doing. So at a crazy speed and a lot of focus and speed, and going through kind of all the knowledge of the world, what is the next word that is most probably right? And that's kind of how it works. So again, these are predictive machines, predictive on the next word, rather than just a purely intelligent machine yet. All right, so what can an LLM do? So an LLM can generate text. That's where it all started. So you can write essay, you can write summaries, you can write reports, can write emails, can write your essays, unfortunately, and anything that you want it to do. For example, in there, I asked Gemini to write me a poem describing Bangkok as Shakespeare would have written it, and then it just came back out and actually came up with some good ideas. It can answer questions. So if you want to learn, typically an AI can be very useful. If there is a concept that is discussed, maybe you are at work and someone in a meeting talks about a concept you didn't know about, and someone mentioned in marketing, inbound marketing, right? For example. And then you're not sure, but you never really heard that term. So you can actually go to an AI and just simply ask, could you please explain to me this concept? And if the explanation is still too complex, you can also dump it down and you can say, can you please explain it to me as, for example, I was 12 years old. I love to use that tip. So then he will dump it down and explain to you with some examples, like a tutor or a personal teacher would do it for you. It can help you with grammar, it can help you with writing, it can help you with editing, it can rephrase your text. Again, if you use Office nowadays, you will see Copilot every there. If you use Outlook, you will see that Outlook tries very much to write your emails for you. And it is true that if you want to get things done faster, rather than having to necessarily worry about the tone that you want to write, and you want to maybe like, oh, who's going to be the person reading it? Am I going to make grammar mistake or anything like that? You can actually write down bullet points of what you want to answer in an email, and then ask the AI to write it to you in your own tone. And that was also something that is important. And when I've warned my staff to be careful, is that if you use AI to write something, it tends to write it at quite a high level. So what you want to be careful about is that you want to write it in the way you actually do speak. So when people read your email, they said, this is an AI response. Oh, no, this is actually a real email coming from you. So that's also something to be cognizant about. AI can also summarize content. So maybe you receive a very big report or a very big article, or sometimes for your studies, Warren here will ask you to read a 28 pages essay report, or academic report or academic article that has been written. And you might not have the full time to go through the entire article. So you could ask an AI to actually summarize the key learning outcomes for you, and then write it down. Then you can ask them to expand on it or summarize it. And then when you go to a specific point, you maybe want to expand on that particular point. So that's also one way that you can work with it. And AI is also very good nowadays at translating languages. Looking at translating languages, I am originally French speaker. I navigate between French and English almost every day. Typically, if I ask something to be translated in either language or even German, I would say it's at 95, 96% correct most of the time. So today, I think we can most probably trust. If you were to go into languages like Thai and Japanese and Arabic and others, maybe we need to look at it again a second time because the tone and the vocabulary and the levels might be different. But it can be a very good step to learn about languages as well. And of course, one of the things that we most probably have seen on ChatGPT, on Gemini, Grok as well, does the same thing. It can generate images. And it can generate images that are animation images, photorealistic images. It really varies a lot in terms of what it can do. I use it a lot for generating images for my class and for my slides, typically, when I want to illustrate a concept. Maybe it's I always like to use visuals in my slides as well, so people and students can really understand both the visuals and the text at the same time. But very often, some concept were difficult to illustrate because I have to find the image. Generative AI for us is really, really helpful for that. And you can generate also videos as well, so short videos. And you have Sora from OpenAI that can do that. You have Imagen from Grok that can do that. At the moment, these are very short clips, but there are some more specialized AI that can also help you create some form of short videos too. And this is just one example of a very short video of a lady, Acha Praya, enjoying a drink. That was last year that I've done this. So since then, they have the level have improved. And this is based on that prompt. And then something also very, very useful and powerful. Maybe you want to receive a report when it's a long report that you have to read, and you may be someone who learns better or absorb information better by listening to it. So nowadays you have a lot of what we call convert text-to-speech AI. And the one image that I'm giving you is called 11 Labs, which is the leader in the market, can take any text and actually read it to you. There are some newspaper online on the phones now that do that. They actually are powered by, for example, 11 Lab, one of them, and it can read the article for you. It can read the text for you. You can read an audiobook for you. You can read your own text, and you can also train it with your own voice. So if you wanted to make something that is audio generated that you want to transmit later through something that you've written, that is something, the tool is there for you to do that. And then you have also a lot of, now Zoom is doing this right now. This meeting and this class is actually being recorded. So as I speak and as I present to you, the Zoom is taking some notes, transcribing everything, and then it will actually generate a summary of the discussion afterwards. So you have, if you have an iPhone, something that is already included into your phone is a voice recorder or voice note, and that will actually do that automatically and record everything. And you can copy paste it, put it into ChatGPT and give me the summary of that particular discussion. If you want to catch up later on all the meetings that you had and you remembered, yeah, we had a meeting about something that we discussed and I don't remember what it was. So if you, for example, put into AI, you can search for that information again and it will surface to you. So again, how a way to be more efficient, effective at recalling information that you had. And now LLMs are what we call multimodals. So what does it mean is that it doesn't just recognize text, but it can recognize image, it can recognize voice, mostly, and it can videos, not yet exactly. It can kind of guess it, but it's not there 100%. So if you have with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and Grok, if I'm not mistaken, and DeepSeek, you can actually talk to your AI, so talk to your robot. So very much like the movie Her, I don't know if you watched that, where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with the AI played by Scarlett Johansson, is actually you can interact and discuss directly with your AI, and your AI speaks back to you. I am not personally a big person who likes to talk to a robot. That's not my cup of tea. Some people are, not so much me. But it is very, for example, very useful if you have work to do and you have to be hands-free. So I use it quite a few times where I was driving, stuck in Bangkok traffic before going home. And typically I needed to write an email, I needed to kind of follow up on a report, and I wanted to get more information. So I actually worked hands-free, where I was essentially having my phone being my direct assistant, talking to my phone directly, like I would like to write an email to this person, explaining this is the context, this is the issue, this is what I want to say, and don't have to worry about grammar or anything, but just basically blurbing out like I would to my assistant. And then automatically the AI talks back to you, says, I understand, this is what you want. And at the end, when you arrive and you park, I was ready to send the email that was already ready to go with. So again, can be a big help sometimes if you are in a situation when you're not in front of your office or in front of your desk. Documents I've talked about before, all right? So PDF, a Word document, or anything that you need to summarize and get the extracts, you can do. But what is also interesting is that it understands images. So if you have, in this example, a screenshot from a company that want to offer us a service, so I want to get a little bit more information about it. So I took a screenshot, put it into Claude for that instance, and then ask, please tell me exactly what you understand from that image and summarize it for me. So imagine you're receiving quotes from 5 different suppliers. Each of the different suppliers have a different format, different pictures, different way. You can take a screenshot of the images, put it there, and then they ask the AI to actually make a fair comparison and analysis of each different suppliers' offers, and then come up with which one offers the best value. So again, this is a work that you could do by yourself or your assistant could do, but this will be done in no time as well. Again, helps you save a lot of time and help you make sure that you're very fair in your analysis. And search the web. So I was talking about Perplexity before, but looking at also ChatGPT, now all of them can search the web. Personally, if I want to search the web on AI, I actually always go back to Gemini because it is backed up by Google. So I believe, not sure if I'm right, but it's the one that actually will give you the more information. But you can go to Perplexity, you can go to ChatGPT and ask them to help you plan something. So I'm planning a holiday to Japan. I have an itinerary, that's the history, tradition, and go through it. And then he actually created the itinerary like that. So we're already going there to a bit what we call agentic AI. But typically this is something as well that you can learn, you can use AI for. And then I was giving as an example, imagine you want to buy a car, want to buy a new TV, want to buy a holiday. We use Google to that a lot, but now it's coming as well into AI as well. I want to search information about this typical type of car. Can you tell me and read all the reviews that exist, what you can say about that? And we know that more and more customers are actually doing that. And then it's also important for us as companies to say how we can operate in what we call AIO. So if you work in digital marketing, you might have heard the concept of SEO, search engine optimization. So how to make sure that you are optimized for Google when people are looking for hotels, like say I want to search for hotel in Phuket. Now in the same way, today hotels and companies have to look for AIO. So artificial intelligence optimization. So how to make sure that when people go and say, I would like to find a 5-star hotel in Bangkok. So if I'm minor, to make sure that the Anantara Riverside comes out first, or Anantara Siam comes out first. So there are ways as well as a company behind where you can do that. And then something that I actually did yesterday. So I was in a meeting with Warren, and with Warren, we actually were drawing something about the PGD actually, and looking at the full plan for 26 or 27, the way we would deliver the courses and so on. And then we worked old-fashioned, and I took all my notes by hand. And then I was like, okay, now I have to reproduce everything on the computer. And I was like, ah. Then I said, no, how silly of me. So I took my phone, I took a picture of my scribble, gave it to Claude, and Claude, please transcribe this for me. And he actually created the entire, reproduced the exact table. And then I said, okay, great, thank you very much. I could copy paste it and then put it into my Notion or my Word document, so I could keep that. So again, quite quick, fast, efficient, simple, kind of a habit to have, and that's what kind of LLMs can do so far. All right, so this is kind of what AI is. Now, something that is really spoken about a lot since the last, let's say, beginning of the year, end of last year and beginning of this year, is going into what we call agentic AI. So it's not a new AI that has just popped up, but it's more about what AI can actually do. So it means that rather than just asking your AI to answer questions, summarize your document, and do things like that, is actually asking AI to do something for you, to give the AI a task, and then it will do it and work through the different steps autonomously for you. And this is an example that you have here on the side, which is called Claude. And Claude has 3 different functions. So you can have chat as new normal. You can do code, which is to create some small apps, which I'll give you an example of. And then as well, or do some code and also work on directly onto your documents. So what I want you is for example, with Claude Co-work, I could have a file with all the receipts that I went for. Imagine I went on a business trip. Let's imagine I went on a business trip to recruit some students in Vietnam. And I went there and I visited some hotels, I had some lunch, I invited maybe some potential students, I invited them for a drink. So I have a lot of expenses and I bring a lot of receipts. Of course, what I could do is I could do it automatically, take a picture, enter Excel and so on. But imagine this is a full day or 2 days gone, and 1 day full done just doing this. So what with Co-work you can do is you can actually create a folder, scan all of your receipts, put them all in there, and then ask Claude in that way to say, okay, I want you to go to the folder where all my receipts are. I want you to take a picture, and then I want you to take the information from those receipts, create an Excel file for me, and then create in this Excel file the tabs per day, per expense, for the total and everything, something that I can then give to my accounting department so that they can be reimbursed. And then it just does it for you. All right. And honestly, every time I do that or I use something similar, I'm always blown away because it really works with very, very, very little mistake and kind of automatic. Ask you a few questions and then you can move on. So we are moving to a generation where AI is not just answering you questions, but actually doing things for you and doing mundane tasks for you. Also, something that I think I have I have a couple of my students in the room. Hello, Sofiane. Hello, Tip. Thank you for being here. So typically what we've covered in the class was the concept of deep research. So initially, imagine I want to come and I want to be able to bring a new business into a new country or a new city. And then again, typically, if you would go to a banker, if you would go back to an investor, it would be very much important to come with some tangible proof. And then you could spend a lot of time doing the research yourself. You could do primary data research, doing interviews and so on, or you could go to consultancy reports and ask for a white paper. And if you are rich enough, you can ask a consulting company to do the research for you. And then it will come up with the actual report on 15, 20 pages. So this is actually something that you can do now almost for free to a very high level of quality with things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude to some extent as well. But Gemini for me is the best for that when you actually would ask them to do a deep research. So next time you go to ChatGPT, look at the plus button that is always at the bottom of the chat and click on there and select deep research. If you do the same with Gemini, do the same thing, look for deep research as well. And then typically what it will do, it will ask more about the parameters of what research you're trying to do, saying, what exactly do you want to achieve? This is the direction I want to go to. Is it correct? Is it not correct? Yes, it is. okay, I will do the report. And then let the machine work for 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on how complex your query is. It will take some time, and then it will come back with you with a very detailed report, all based on research and data, all based with proper links to where the information was found to actually come you with some proof. So again, things that someone approached me, wanted to potentially do a joint venture to open another type of school. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but I didn't know them that much. I knew their website, so that's what I would have done, go to their website and so on. And then I say like, okay, I want to do a competitive research. So that's kind of the step I did. I went there, so I want to get more information about that. I want to do, I want to make sure I understand who they are, how long they established, and governance and everything. And then they did a report with me and came with an entire kind of business case, business plan of what they've done. So I kind of knew better who they were when I went to the next meeting with them. Now you also have what you kind of call browser agents. So you can integrate a tool like Claude into your Chrome. You can use a browser like Comet or Atlas from ChatGPT, so which those are purely browsers that are actually powered by AI. I am personally not 100% convinced. I just a little bit careful about sharing all my browser data with an AI, which then I don't know safety and security, where my personal data and my credit card details will go. So I personally do not use them because I'm just a little bit scared. But today you can go onto a browser like here, and you can go on booking.com and says, I'm looking for a hotel for this. Please do the research. Claude is answering me, says, this is what you want to do. You approve the plan? Yes, I do. And then you can see your browser actually doing the work and looking at everything that you want to do there. So again, quite impressive how kind of the machine. So if you used to work or read science fiction where the machine does everything for us like an assistant, this day is now here. And then you can also generate code. So I'm not a coder. I've always been a technology enthusiast, but I've never been a coder myself. I've never been to that step. But what I always find is kind of how to use technology and how to use technology to make our work better, which I hope that's what I kind of convinced you today of. And then what I did with Claude, for example, I went there and I said, all right, I want to create an event planning app. I am a hotel, I work for event planning, and I need an app for where I can actually create an offer. And it was done in 5 minutes. So I didn't think deep too much into it. But then I will just need to stop sharing and go back because it's another window. So then what it did for me, which I'm still amazed, which is there. How to manage multiple windows. Here we are. And then what the AI did for me is actually created, and this is a file that sits on my computer where I can just kind of go. And typically here, it's an app for making a bill. So I want to write the bill for Mr. Warren Stanworth, or I can enter his email. So warren@aim.com. Okay, it's not the actual email, so please don't email there. You can say, okay, maybe he doesn't want to get married again, but maybe he wants to have a birthday party and he's expecting to have 200 guests coming to the hotel. And then at a certain price, we want to add the party equipment. We want to have some decoration there. And then what we have is we have the price that it would be, and then complete quote summary. You're happy with it? You can download as a PDF. You can email directly from this web app. So the AI created a web app for me that I can use. This is, again, as I mentioned before, done in 5 minutes with one small prompt. If I wanted to build something a little bit more powerful, a little bit more detailed, I might spend a little bit more time. But again, to nowadays, again, you have a lot of freedom and a lot of, if you have an imagination and you kind of proper analytical thinking, you can actually really go quite far. So let me go back to my slide. And here we are. So we can generate code, again, quite advanced. And then there's something as well, if you want to go and you want to try an itinerary, if you want to have an idea for a website, but maybe you're not 100% sure about, and you kind of don't know anything about websites and things, but you want to have a visuals, maybe give to the developer later on, what you can do is use what we call the dynamic view. So if you go to Gemini, and again, you always need to click on these this little button here, you will have one of the options that comes up and calls as dynamic view. And dynamic view actually creates an interactive visual experience of whatever it is. So you it could be a tour guide, could be a website, could be a review of a book, could be a historical review, again, depending on what the prompt is all about. So it's also one of the things that that you can do, which is quite fun and creates quite quickly. All right, now a few things to understand about LLMs that is also very, very important to be careful about is that it has a tendency to, again, as I mentioned before, to lack the real understanding. So it's only pattern matching and predictions. Again, these are not actual brain. These are brain that simulates the way we think. As I mentioned before, and I think it's important to remember, it's like you have a PhD level assistant, but a PhD level assistant that is super smart, that is smarter than you, but will only do what you ask it to do. And if you don't give it the right instruction, the output will be very limited, or the output will not be right. So that is something that is very important to keep in mind, that it's whatever I ask it to do needs to be thought out. If I just write one sentence into it and I expect wonders, it won't work. So the way you work with the LLM is also very important. The way you work with the AI is very important to think about. And then it can sometimes make mistakes, less and less compared to all the stories we used to hear 2 years ago. I think Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, which is based on OpenAI. Anyway, these are typically now, the rate of mistake is now 99.5, depending on the latest statistics. So it's quite low, but it still can make mistakes. And it can still what we call hallucinate and fabricate complete information. And this is an information last year. I was asking Claude, and it was typically during Chinese New Year, and I wanted to write an email to a Chinese partner. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wonder then, Happy New Year of the. And then I went to the LLM and says, oh, which year are we? And it says, yeah, we are the year of the dragon. And then I was, no. You know, I was not, that's wrong. Dragon was before. It's not the year of the dragon, it's the year of the. And then it says, no, we are the year of the dragon. And then I actually had to check with another AI, so typically ChatGPT in Siri, and then to confirm that, oh yes, actually, yeah, I made a mistake. So very important that sometimes AI still makes mistakes. So we always to double check to make sure that that whatever it's come to you was correct. And then also sometimes there are biases. So because it's been trained on the internet or what has been written in the past, whatever might come up might still be biased based on kind of the human experience, also something to be careful. And then as mentioned before, the quality of what comes out depends on the quality of what you put in. You cannot just put one sentence and expect wonders, as mentioned before. And this is something that I've added today that I think I really wanted to put in there because it is a problem, I think, today, is that LLMs are sycophants. So LLMs love you. LLMs want to please you. LLMs want to make you happy because that's kind of the way they've been trained and the way that the systems have been done. And because it wants to please you and train you, whatever you say to an LLM, they have a tendency to actually reply back to you and says, yeah, no, you're totally correct. This is a fantastic idea. So here I was looking, I want to open a business about that. I have an idea. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. You should definitely do it. And then you can see that it might direct you into a place where actually it's you might be completely wrong and you might like a complete idiot because, again, the AI has directed you into the wrong direction. So this type of what I call sycophancy is something to be careful about in terms of the way they respond to you, because they are trained to be friendly, polite, and eager to agree and eager to flatter you. And then, unfortunately, it can bring you sometimes to the wrong direction. So it might validate a bad data, a bad idea. So typically, and I will show you some of the sentences that I encourage you to use as well, is the way that you enter the questions and the data into it is to actually correct it, or say, tell me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't be a sycophant, don't flatter me. Things like that, to make sure that the AI is as balanced as possible. And if the AI is as balanced as possible, it will be as useful as possible as well. So one thing that I always tell the team and work the students as well, that if you work with an LLM and you give the report, you need to be accountable for your work. You cannot go to your boss, to your supervisor, to your clients, to your students, to your teacher, to anybody that does. They say, oh, okay, this is not my work, this is AI. This is why it's a mistake, this is AI. But if you are giving this work to someone else, or if you're giving this output to someone else, you are accountable for that input. And that is also very important. So again, that importance to really double check whatever you're producing. Because you cannot give something to someone, say, hey, go ahead, use that, and then there's a mistake in it. So I made the mistake once, last year, I kind of learned the hard way. I created a little app through code, and I said, yeah, this is going to be amazing, they're going to love me. And I sent that to the client to say, okay, go fill it in, it will make you the offer. Came back and said, your thing is full of mistakes. And I said, okay, my bad, my mistake. I actually just gave it to you. I didn't trust it. I didn't test it. I didn't go into the depth of it, and it's my mistake. So that's something we need to be aware of. AI is not a person, but it can act like one, already very important. So now we are coming to the era of AI girlfriends or AI boyfriends, when sometimes people prefer to speak to a synthetic person rather than a real one. But remember, these are only machines that are here to please you, and they don't have personalities. AI is unpredictable, it might not, and really remember that you are in charge. Also, something that is important is, even though the AI companies are not telling us what we're doing with the data, we are responsible for our own data, and we are responsible with what we share. So be aware of that. So if there are things that are too personal to share, maybe it's a good idea not to share it, or maybe not to share it with the AI that is at work. If it's something personal and they have something different. Again, it's just about making sure about your privacy and your own data in the way that you can keep and control it as well. And my biggest recommendation, even if you use the free, my recommendation would be to have at least one, to invest, if you're serious about AI, to invest into one AI. It costs about 20 euros per month. If you use ChatGPT Pro, Claude would be my biggest recommendation nowadays, or others. And typically with the paying version, you have already better control, and the models that are used are more powerful and a tendency of doing less mistakes. But if you're working even with the free one, I always would recommend to actually work with two. Have Gemini and ChatGPT open, and then if you test one, test the other one as well, and see what the output is, and compare and see which one you think you prefer the output, rather than just focusing on one in particular. And then if you're not clear about what the AI gave, ask questions. Don't worry, it's always a good way to do that. So it's a subject that really passionates me, because I work with AI every day. I really follow AI. It goes so fast, I cannot follow everything that is out there, but I try, and I try to implement it as well. So I just want to give you a few tips that really worked well for me. And the first one is the concept of the FOG index. So FOG index, funny enough, doesn't come from AI, but FOG index comes from the world of editorials, the world of newspapers and magazines and books. And FOG index means, and it can be used in any language, but it's the complexity of the language that you're using. So if you are a FOG index of 20, you are aiming for the most difficult sentence structure with the most difficult word and the most words and the most elaborate words that you will do. And you will create an email or a document that is almost only the super smart people can actually read and understand. And it's not the way we talk generally. If you go on the opposite end and you ask for a FOG index of 1, it's basically talking to a baby. So it will make sentences of 2 or 3 words maximum. So what I tend to do when I want to write a message, an email or something, I would always say, I would like a fog index of 11. Or if I can see the AI gives me something very broad, and then it says, no, this is too much, this is too complicated, this doesn't sound like me at all. So what I will do is I will go down and say, rewrite this for me in a fog index of, I tend to use 10, 11, which is kind of a good amount of the way I do speak normally as a non-native English speaker. So that is a good trick. I found it very useful. And then what I've done to avoid the AI to be sycophantic and always telling me how great I am and how smart I am and so on, but to actually be really balanced and objective, is to use these words. So for example, be critical and reflective. So be critical. Don't just come out with the first answer and think it's the best out things. Be reflective. Think about your answer twice. So the AI will actually does the effort to reflect on what it writes before giving it to you again. Be specific, not generic. Be specific exactly what you want to do. Answer step by step. If whatever you want to ask is actually quite broad, you can ask the AI to say, we're going to look at this problem together. We're going to discuss the SEO plan or the content plan for marketing for the next year. And we're going to go, this is the plan. I want you now to step by step. We do step one together. We agree on something. When we go step two, otherwise, sometimes there's a tendency to just give you everything. Think about all the options if you want it to kind of think broad. And also, something that I tend to use a lot, context matter. So it is the way that you want to ask actually questions and to the AI to work specific context. So rather than starting all over again and giving the context, the AI has a memory. So I will go about it and I will say, well, okay, what do you know about the PGD program? And then he will actually give me the PGD program. My aim is, and then he gives me the exact context. Yes, you are right. Now let's work on the program. Right, so that's something that I use quite a bit. Challenge my assumptions again. If you wanted to say like, that's my ideas. Now tell me if I'm right. Simplify it for beginners. If you ask for a complex concept that you maybe don't understand, you want to review easily, and you might want to review your answer for accuracy. Also, something you want to do is to make sure that it is correct. If I am with the AI and I give it an idea, and I give a prompt. I'm thinking about doing a prompt about this because I want to redo my marketing strategy for next year, want to review this and this and that. And I basically write down what I'm thinking. If I press enter, it's going to execute it right away. So to stop doing that, I actually use a lot at the end of a sentence writing, what do you think? So I wanted to reflect on my ideas and then start a discussion. Or I would write sometimes a sentence like discuss. Or thoughts, is faster as well. Thought question mark. So then he will think about what you written and then give it back to you. Sometimes I would go and ask me questions so you understand better what I want to achieve. So maybe you have a big plan in your mind. Maybe you think about it and you kind of jumble there and you start writing it down. Maybe you dictate it to your phone. It's also possible. And then typically you're not able to explain your entire concept and your idea. So what I sometimes tend to do is I just ask you like, okay, ask me questions. So do you understand better exactly what I want to achieve and what I want to do? And actually it will do that and clarify the topic or the goal that you have with front. And let's discuss before you create anything, again, another of this prompt that kind of help you that. Give me 2 different approaches if you wanna move it forward. If maybe it gives you an output and you say, okay, quite good, but what would make stronger? I want you to review it and give me another option again, or give me a third option. So you force the AI to kind of rework it and make it stronger in some aspect and come up with a good idea. Stay on task. ChatGPT is really bad recently. I don't know if they're changing their model or not. But with me, typically, what I had the problem is I asked it to do a task. We have a chat, we have a task. He works on it, and suddenly, for whatever reason, it goes haywire, and it resumes everything and does it completely different way of the way we agreed to work together. So there I completely go, and it says, no. ChatGPT, stay on task. Remember, this is the objective. This is what we want to achieve. Fact check my claims. It's similar, and again, how reliable are these sources? So again, all different types of sentences. We'll share the slides with you so you can review and then look if you can use it for yourself. So just to finish, we're coming to the end of our webinar. So how to make AI work for you. So this is an image I generated with ChatGPT. As you can see, I'm a big Star Wars fan. And this is an image that kind of looks like me, maybe with more hair and less gray. But that kind of wanted to represent me on my Mac. And the image is there to represent that I am still in charge. So I'm still there on the computer. I'm still working. These are still my ideas. This is still my goals. It's still overall my target. But AI is like my assistant, my very smart PhD level, computer level assistant that is here to help me be more productive and much faster. Honestly, I say it every day to my wife, I would not be able to accomplish as much as I am accomplishing and as much as AIM is accomplishing with a small team today without AI to kind of assist us in the way we execute things that we have to execute. So just to conclude, so working with AI, things to consider, it is really like your augmentation tool. I'm thinking about to Steve Jobs, who used to like to say, a bicycle is like the bicycle for your mind. A computer is a bicycle for your mind. Helps you to go faster, stronger, with less energy, right? So typically, AI is really that. It's here to help you with your intro. One tip: whenever you open ChatGPT, open one chat, one topic. Don't mix up the different topics in the same chat, because the AI will be looking, or the LLM will be looking at whatever information you shared in that particular chat, that particular discussion. And if you want to discuss that topic further, you can go back to it and review it and rate. But don't start talking about your finance, your marketing, your students, your baking recipe, your email to your girlfriend, your email to your boss, all in that one chat. It's a recipe for disaster. So a chat per topic, that's really the best option to do that. And then AI is having a conversation like you would have with your assistant, right? Talk in regular grammar. And I was reading something recently about an AI expert that also is another professor like me, and actually was saying that the way we work with AI is like how we are working with a good manager. And we are using more than prompting skill and more looking into working skills such as an engineer or a coding engineer. It's actually more talking to a person. So whatever managerial skills that you might have and the way you work with your assistants or with your team members or with your colleagues is kind of working in the same way. So having a conversation, asking for feedback, providing feedback, giving answer, asking them to dig deeper, and so on, very much make the same. The only thing, they don't complain for breaks and they don't complain for days off. Context is key. In the beginning of AI, we talked a lot about prompts, and prompts are king. Important to know about to do a right prompting. And today we were talking a lot about prompting engineering, knowing how to do the right prompt to get the right answer. Today is much more about context. So context is king. So what is the context of whatever you want to work it? Give it as much as you can. Spend some time giving the context of your project, of your email, of your task. And then after that, the AI will work for you. The more context you give, the more powerful the answer will be. And then also, I like to do that. It's really useful. Once you provide the context, you ask for the task, but before it goes for the task, ask it to clarify. What did you understand? What is it that you need to do? It will give you, I understand that you need to do this. And then you can ask it to actually focus on. And as long, it's always very good to provide feedback. If AI provides you something good, just write it down. And then write it down, says, yes, good, exactly what I wanted, and so on, so that it knows, that it learns that that's the type of answers that you want. And then also iterative and iteration is also important. So how you can actually change and sometimes it doesn't work exactly the way you want. Restart again, use another chat, or ask for an iteration and come back with a second one. Again, I observe sometimes people using AI, they're using AI like they use Google. And they ask a question and they want the answer right away and they want everything to be baked on. It doesn't really work like that. All right. And then again, a lot of people are also worried because AI is becoming so powerful. In my mind is that AI is powerful. AI can help us be more productive. AI might replace some kind of low-skill jobs that we would give to people. But at the same time, I think rather than thinking about AI reducing people or reducing tasks, it can actually help us do more than what we can do normally, because everybody within your organization actually can go further and beyond what they do and can do more with less. And I think that's one way to look at it. So yeah, that's kind of ends up my particular lesson. Again, I'm always very eager to discuss it, and I went slightly beyond the time, and I have a further. So typically, if you join if you join our PGD program and you join my entrepreneurship class, there are some specific sessions that we work on AI, and then we use AI to actually make our output better. And yeah, so we have I will finish I will open the floor to questions or to your content as we finish this webinar. If anybody has questions on the PGD program, on the classes, or on the topic of AI, I'm more than happy to answer them. And I'm going to put that image. All right, then thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time. Thank you for staying behind and staying in the class. I really appreciate it. So it's not just me talking to my computer alone. And then again, if you have any questions about the program, any questions about anything about the way we can accommodate you, then we'll be very happy to hop on a call and then see what is the best solution for you for the rest of your career and how AIM can help you get there. I see some questions in the chat. Thank you, everyone. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And I'm looking forward to a call. I'll quickly shoot an email for the same.
Yes,
Thank you,
perfect.
Chris.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.